As promised, here is part 2 of my tribute to the Lizzie Bennet Diaries in honor of its first birthday. Enjoy! It's one of those characters who kind of grows on you. Like, you can see why Lizzie's kind of annoyed by him and doesn't really want to give him the time of day. But at the same time, there's something about him underneath that's kind of just like very earnest and very determined. He may not really always get the big picture. He's definitely socially awkward. However, he throws himself into what he does with great enthusiasm and large words, and he goes for it, and he's successful, and he gives people like Charlotte and Charlotte's sister a chance as well, and I think that that's actually very admirable. In other versions of Pride and Prejudice that I've seen, Mr. Collins was always just kind of like, ew. But there's just something about this version of Mr. Collins, and maybe it's the way that Maxwell portrays him, but it's just, he's just lovable. Love Charlotte. She again, like Gigi, is kind of the voice of the audience, but in a more pragmatic way, I think, and I love how she always is calling Lizzie out when Lizzie is being ridiculous or avoiding or whatever. And I love that Charlotte knows what she wants and she isn't afraid to go after it, and she's going to stand up for what she believes is right, even if other people do not agree with her. And she's not going to let other people dictate how her life should be. And that goes not only for Lizzie, but for when she takes that job with Mr. Collins, how she is able to assert what she needs and what she wants, and it isn't the type of working relationship that Lizzie feared it would be for Charlotte. It isn't a career-ending decision. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And I think that's such a great portrayal of that character, and I really love her arc through that. I love Jane. And have from day one, and one of my favorite things about Jane is the way that she portrays any of the costume theater, but particularly Jane Darcy, because it's just, you take this character who is so shy and like was kind of reluctant to even be on Lizzie's videos in the first place. I mean, and here she is, and she's just portraying this character so well and so comedically. And I just love that about her. And it brings a whole other side and perspective to the videos. And the other thing I love about Jane is just her whole arc and how she goes from not exactly naive and innocent, but she's just a very optimistic person and sees so much good in everyone, which is great. But that she grows so much beyond that in her own confidence in herself and her abilities, and she's successful in her career, and she's obviously more secure in who she is, to the point that in episode 92 she's able to say no to Bing initially and to be like, look, I care about you and clearly want to be with you, but I don't want you to just give everything up just to come with me. I need to have my own life, you need to have your own life. And I think that shows a real inner strength from her, especially given how devastated she was when everything went down with Bing initially and he suddenly left for LA. I think it shows such growth. I love Lydia in the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and I will admit that Lydia is not a character that I have really liked or cared for in any other version of Pride and Prejudice. A lot of that has to do with the care and attention that was put into the character. And even early on, it becomes very apparent very quickly that Lydia really wants Lizzie's approval, and she wants Lizzie to just like her and understand her a little. But Lizzie is sort of so trapped in her preconceived notion of who Lydia is that she can't see that. And there are these little moments where Lizzie makes a comment or brushes off something that Lydia says, and there's just this minute moment where it's very clear that Lizzie's little, seemingly insignificant brush-off is having a deep effect on Lydia, and that's totally a testament to Mary-Kate Well's acting, but I was surprised to see it that early on, and quite pleased to see it developing that early on, and that foundation was there that they then were able to build on in Lydia's own video diaries, and also in the later of Lizzie's diaries. And I really love the arc between Lizzie and Lydia, and their arc toward understanding each other and themselves better through that process, and how close they'd become by the end. I think that's one of the strongest things about the show is how they played that dynamic. So I realized as I was editing together these 3 tribute videos that I neglected to talk about George Wickham. And as I was thinking about it, I realized that part of the reason why is because I'm still really mad at him. And I can't really find any redeeming qualities in him at the moment. Maybe down the road, when I rewatch, I will feel differently. But right now, I'm really mad at him for what he did to Lydia. He hurt her really badly, and I'm not ready to forgive him for that. And so, that's my thought on George Wickham. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed day 2 of my tribute. Day 3 coming up tomorrow, with lots of dizzy feels. Bye.